Good morning.
Why? Oh my gosh.
Because I literally bought my coffee, right? Uber Eats it. Costed me like $12. I don't normally. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah.
It cost me like $12. I don't normally do that. And Sam, being the great person that he is, just messaged me though that he got me coffee.
Oh.
Fudge.
Um.
Did you get your coffee?
No.
I'll give it to you when you pick me up.
Thanks,
We'll
Sam.
do that because I can't. Yeah, I'm not having 2 coffees. Ah, man.
You're not like me.
I cannot handle it. I can't. I would go crazy. I actually want to say something very funny real quick. Well, it's not super funny, but like, so I'm obviously in a new setup, right? I'm in my
Yeah.
brother's room, but I'm on my PC because I
Mhm.
forgot the laptop.
I had a feeling, and I literally when I was
Yeah.
out yesterday, I have an alarm set for you, right, to remember the laptop, and
Mhm.
I was going to text you. It went off at 5:55, and I was gonna text you, and then I was out, and so I forgot to text you.
Yeah. That's not your fault. It's my fault.
Hey,
I
but
just totally spaced and I didn't realize like until I got home. And I was like, great. So I figured out the PC. It was actually pretty easy to figure out, except turning it on, I couldn't remember. It's been a long time since I've like messed with it. And so Zach was like, well, did you turn on the power button? And because there's two, there's the like
there's two.
one that you click. Yeah, there's one that you click, and then there's like on the back, like a switch that you have to turn on, like
Okay. Mhm.
the key one.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's on and it's not turning on. And so he's like, let me see. And so I pull out my phone and I show him, and I was like, which letter is it supposed to be on, the O or the I? He was like, it's supposed to be on the I. And I had it on the O the whole time. And I was like, I thought they put it on O for on. He was like, well, what is the I for? I off? And I thought that was so funny. I thought that was so funny.
I do wonder what they stand for though, because that makes sense to me, right? O for on,
Yeah,
like
like I didn't even like pay attention to the fact that it was I. I was just like, oh, on. And it wasn't turning on. Oh, anyways. Yeah.
that's funny. I like the new
But
setup though.
thank you. Thank you. I actually low key am thinking about using this for the future because it was just so much easier for me to set up. It did not take hassle at all.
That's good.
Yeah. So, everybody, we're going to be talking about hunting.
And for those of you who have not read it or you're thinking about reading it, there are quite a bit of trigger warnings. This book does include sex trafficking, rape, stuff along those lines.
Very
So,
gruesome.
yes.
Arguably, I would say, well, I think most people would say it's more gruesome than even the first Haunting Adeline book that we
Oh,
talked
yeah,
about.
definitely.
It's pretty tough.
Yeah, yeah, because yeah, so definitely proceed with caution if you're
Mhm.
sensitive to those items. Take your time watching the podcast, or if you don't watch it, that's okay. We're all for mental health here. But the book is pretty good.
It is. It is. If you liked, mm, not necessarily, but if you liked Haunting, I could see you still being interested in this one. Some people liked it more, some people
Mhm.
liked it less. So I guess it just depends. I still think it's worth the read, but yeah. Did we do a spoiler warning? I know we always do, but spoiler warning.
Yeah, spoiler
Surprise,
warning.
Sade. Yeah.
Surprise, shout it! We're talking about Hunting Adeline.
Yes, we are. Okay, where to even begin? I didn't do a breeze through again. So I don't remember the names, but I still remember the pretty much the like premise
Yeah,
of
I
the book.
didn't do a breeze through, but I was reading a section this morning. I just kind of flipped to the page, and of course, it was a fucked up scene.
Mm. Well,
Um,
that was like almost the whole book,
yeah,
almost like more than a half of it, I'd say.
yeah, yeah, definitely, yeah. And then you still have to you experience her trauma in the second half of the book from everything that happened in the first half of the
Right.
book.
Yeah.
Something you brought up was that there were some people who liked this more than Haunting. Did you have a preference? I feel like you prefer Haunting.
You knew. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I prefer Haunting. And that's because so hunting goes into a lot of like the sex trafficking and Adeline, the main character, she's like victim to that. And so for most of the book, you're following that. It's not very much like a love story per se. It's kind of like her story, like her journey, her trauma story. And it's not bad. Like I'm not trying to invalidate that, but it's just a hard read for me. I'm a very like I want to say like a fluffy person, so I don't like a lot of like heavy things because I'm like an empath, right? Like I feel what that person's feeling and like I'm like crying throughout the book and I don't like crying throughout books. I know like some people like to like feel the emotions and they like that. I hate that because I could just cry in real life, right? It's not that hard to get me to cry in real life. So when I'm reading books, I really want to feel that like I just want to feel happy. I want to feel
Yeah.
giddy. I want to feel like a build up. Um, and Haunting had more of that. Like for me, it wasn't so heavy. Yeah, that's why I didn't really. It wasn't my thing, but it was still a good book.
Yeah.
What about you?
I definitely am on your side of that where I preferred Haunting over Hunting just
Hmm.
because Hunting was so dark. I love the whole book. I love the whole series. I definitely love the second half of Hunting where you get to see Addie kind of grow. But
Hmm.
the first one will always have a special place in my heart because that was the
Yes.
first book that was picked up and introduced me and us to dark romance.
100%. 100%. That one was more like a thriller, right? Like
Yeah.
you're literally like just like curling your dogs and you're like, "Oh my gosh, like what is about to happen next?"
Curling your
Yeah, where
dogs.
hunting I was like, "Oh my gosh, when is this going to end? Like when
Yeah.
is Zayd going to get here and when is it going to be like okay?" And that's another thing. It wasn't like and this isn't a critique per se. This is just more of like a personal preference, but it wasn't like the book it was only the first couple of chapters or whatever. It's like the whole book. So you get like at the very end, like Ishi Carlton tries to make up for like the lack of like,
Yeah.
romance, all that. But it was just so tough already
Yeah.
after what you read that it just didn't really hit the same for me. I
Mhm.
felt like it just felt a lot heavier.
So, and what's crazy is it was already so heavy, right? And we only really read about like it was 2 months, right? But I heard that it was supposed to be 2 years that she was
Oh yeah.
going through this.
Well, and when I read the book and it was like 2 months later, I was like, 2 months? You're gonna let her like she has to suffer through this for 2 months? And I know that it's more of like it's not even necessarily realistic because realistically it would be probably way longer than that. But I was like, come on, dude, we don't need fucking 2 months of this shit.
Yeah, no, because fuck, man, it's hard. There, she goes through a lot. Like,
Mm-hmm.
there's like just like the daily like beatings, rape, and then there's that fucking the thing that they do, the hunting, like the culling.
Oh
Uh,
yeah. Oh,
when
I will say that scene was very interesting. When
yeah,
I was reading that, I was very like, whoa, like what's gonna happen? It definitely was like kept me invested for sure.
let's think. What are some like of the first events? I know that she ends up making friends with the guy who helped kidnap her and bring her into sex trafficking. I think Rocco. But
Mm-hmm.
you find out later that he's a victim himself. Like Francesca, the woman who owns or she like runs the
Yeah.
sex trafficking house, like she's threatened to take his younger sister, so he's also like being raped by Francesca.
With his character, I will say I felt like he was a very realistic character to add
Hmm.
into the book because a lot of the times I feel like in books you get like that black and white, like either this character is good or this character is bad
Yeah,
or this character is portrayed as bad and might potentially be good. I feel like with this guy, he was very like don't get me wrong, he wasn't bad per se.
yeah,
He was helping in a sense sustain like bad things not because he believed in them but because he was kind of like in a situation
yeah,
um which still wasn't like right per se but he tried to help where he could and I
yeah,
don't know I just feel like that's real. I don't know. It's very realistic. Like
Yeah.
I didn't really like him, but I didn't hate him either. And I just feel like I'd find like a lot of people would probably be in that situation. Like not everything's black and white. You
Yeah.
know, it was very gray.
Yeah. He was trying to take care of her and give her advice like, don't run your mouth, keep it shut, and you won't
Mm-hmm.
get hurt.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you end up feeling bad for him. But the good thing is, right, is towards the end of the story, his sister is saved from, like, they're keeping his sister in a house like away from him
Yes.
so he can't get to her. He just
Yeah.
knows that they have her and they won't sell her if he sleeps with Francesca. And then at
Well,
the
Zayd still wanted to kill him.
yeah, that's well, and that's understandable, right? Especially with his
Mm-hmm.
like that with Addie. Like that's
Yeah.
his obsession. And
Right.
Rocco is one of the ones who was in the end of Haunting who took her out of the car. And
Yes,
yeah,
he was.
yep.
Yeah. Well, and she was going through. So I'll try and like go in my head through the timeline order of the book. So in the beginning, she gets like kidnapped through the car or whatever after that accident. But before she's ever taken to the actual like place where she gets like trafficked, she gets put in that hospital that like or or like that empty building, that abandoned building with that like weird doctor who's not
Oh,
really a doctor.
yes. Yes. I totally forgot
Yeah.
about that.
Well, it wasn't yeah, it wasn't, like, a lot of the storyline, it was in the early beginning of it, but so she's, like, held there temporarily, and then
Mhm.
there's, like, this doctor who I don't know, he's just weird, like, at first, you're not sure about him if he's, like, secretly good and just in a tough spot, but then you find out that he has, like I don't know, he, like, abuses the girls for his own sake, it's not really
Mhm.
for the trafficking ring in general, it's just for him.
He's just a piece of shit.
So yeah, he's just sick. And I don't really remember what his end goal with her was.
I think he wanted to um I'm pretty sure he wanted to rape her.
But probably, but I thought there was more to his. I thought that he like because he would have had a lot of chances, you know? Like he was left with her a lot. There was something like weird with his. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. I'm trying to find it now. He was is this was it he wanted to like keep her. He wanted to like like
Yeah,
like
and he had done that before with some of the other
yeah,
girls.
he was like, "Well, I can take care of you. I can keep you if you want to stay
Yeah.
with me." But he was like, oh, I remember her describing him as like gross, like a really
Mhm.
like gross guy, like man. And
Mhm.
yeah, he wanted to.
But he wasn't as violent with her. Like later on he is, but
Yeah.
like as some of the others, so she's not sure like how she feels about him. But a lot of the other guys are very aggressive with her and they just like push her around and they like
Mhm.
hit her. He wasn't. Anytime they did, he would tell them to stop or like it wasn't necessary or
Yeah.
something like that. And so that's why you're not sure for like the beginning half what his character is.
Because one of the things he says to her is, "I want to take care of you. I'll treat you better than these people ever will, and I promise I'll be good to you."
Yeah,
And she's like, "I'm not
but
sure I want to go with you." And then he like
exactly.
tries to force himself on her, and then I think she
Mhm.
doesn't she kill him?
Mm, mm. I think she either kills him or right before like something's about to happen, that other guy comes in and like I think she does kill him. I don't remember.
I'm gonna hurt him.
I heard it very faintly and I don't even know what it was. It sounded like hey.
Earlier when you were talking, he yelled, and I want to be like, "Fuck you up."
Walking here.
So let's see. She sees the doctor, and then she ends up at the house with Francesca,
Mhm.
and she suffers through a lot of abuse there. But in that abuse, she finds a diary, which is something
Yes.
that kind of like follows through from the first book. Because in the first book, you get to read about Addie's was it her great grandmother,
Mm. Yes.
and
Yes, I believe
now
so.
you get to meet Molly, and Molly was in that house being like she was going to be sold into sex trafficking, and she had a diary there that she kept under the floorboards. And
And
I
Molly's not here during this time. Like she was
no,
already there and now she's
yeah,
like gone. Like her diary's left.
she escaped. I think. Well, the in the diary towards the end of the diary, it sounds like Molly could have escaped, but
Mhm.
you don't know because if girls like run from the house, there's a chance that they could be killed or get lost in the woods because the house is in the middle of like fucking nowhere, obviously.
Timbuktu?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it helps give Addie hope that like maybe she can get out because maybe Molly did too.
Mhm.
And she I know that they do the culling, right? And
Yeah.
do you want to talk about that?
Ooh, I did really like I don't want to say I really liked it because it was still super like traumatic,
Hmm.
but it was a very interesting part. So, the culling is where they do for the people that are actually buying the women, like those high power businessmen who are just like sick. Uh it's supposed to be like an event for them or some sort of like initiation in a sense, and they basically hunt you in the woods. And there are a lot of like I think they can lay out there aren't there like preset traps
Yep.
already out there?
There's traps
Uh
and they have
yeah.
crossbows.
Yeah, they have crossbows. The women have nothing, right? They're just running and hoping that they don't get caught.
I'm pretty sure they're
Yeah.
naked. They don't even have clothes on, right?
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
naked. And yeah, basically they're trying to avoid getting caught. And I think if you get caught, then you're considered like not as valuable
Yeah.
because you can't survive on your own. And so I think they can like they kill you or the guy I don't know. Yeah, the guys find you, I think they kill you. And then whoever's remaining, if you stay within like a certain you have to last for a certain amount of time. And if you last for that amount of time, then you get to like I forget what like I know you survive, but was that the only like
You survive and I guess you're more like valuable, which then
right.
gives you I guess more leniency in the house. But if you get caught, it's not good because
Mhm.
you do end up I think they do end up killing them even if the guys don't kill them.
Yeah. And Adeline, she did pretty well. And all these women are like malnourished, like
Yeah.
some of them are beat, like they're not taking it's completely unfair to begin with. You're set up to fail, really. And so yeah, Addie, there's another girl, and I don't remember her name, but it's another girl in the house, and she kind of messes up in sense of like sound. Like Addie tries to help her, which that in itself isn't common in the house because all the women are out for themselves because they're in survival mode. Um, but Addie tries to like help this girl because she makes a noise. Eventually, though, this girl, I think she's like close to getting her and Addie are close to getting caught, and because Addie had helped her, this girl then kind of like she was already hurt or something. She was already injured, but she was about to like sacrifice herself so that like Addie
Yeah.
could like leave,
Yeah.
right?
Run.
Did she wait, was she the one with the rock or was it somebody else?
I think it was her. I think that she did sacrifice herself, and then because the person who wants to buy Addie is named Xavier, and Xavier's hunting her, and it's him, and there's another guy near him looking
Mhm.
for the other girl, and they know that they're about to get caught, and so she puts herself in the way for Addie, and I think she gets shot. It's like a bad shot. Like she gets shot with an arrow, and it's in a really bad spot.
Right,
So
but she's not like instantly dead.
no, no, she's alive, but then yeah,
Do you want to talk about that part? Like what happens at that point? So Addie
yeah,
survives the night.
yeah.
Like
She doesn't get caught.
yeah.
So when they make it back to the house, um, they line up all the girls, and this is a rough part for anyone
Mhm.
listening.
Yeah,
They
I cried during this part of the
yeah,
book.
they line up all the girls, and the girls who survived and didn't get caught have to kill. And correct me if I'm wrong because I didn't breeze through the book either. like a second time, but they have to kill the girls who got caught and the girls who are hurt
Oh, yeah, I think that's
because
right.
there's
I think that's right,
yeah.
yeah.
Um and they have to stone them. Like it's not just like a quick death. Like they're supposed to
Yeah, it's
pick
like a
up
pain like a
rocks.
form of torture, yeah.
Yeah, they're supposed to pick up rocks and beat these girls to death with their own hands.
Mhm.
And Addie can't, like she can't, because the girl that sacrificed herself, she's in a lot of pain. Like I think that it went through her spine. I think that she couldn't like walk. I think it paralyzed her.
Mm.
And I think I could be wrong. But I remember it being a pretty bad show. Like she was in a lot of pain, and they were gonna have to like slowly beat these girls to death. And instead of Addie doing that, she tries to find what little mercy she can give the girl, and she picks up a stick, I think, and she rams it through her throat. So that way, it's just like quick. Like she just
Quick.
because she doesn't want to.
And she gets in trouble for it, doesn't she?
Yeah, yeah, she does get in trouble
Yeah,
because
Addie does.
they're supposed to have to do that. They're supposed to have to, I guess, show their strength and kill the weak ones.
Mhm.
And she tried to find a way to give her some mercy because she's in a lot of pain. She didn't want to like slowly beat her to death. Poor girl was already.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah, bro.
rough.
That scene was sad, like,
Yeah,
I didn't even know that girl, but it was just, like she says something too. She has kinda, like, final, like, dying words to Addie and whatever it was, like, I don't know. Yeah, I remember it was enough to tip me over the edge.
it was rough.
Oh, and then who's that one girl? Who's that one girl in the house who,
Oh,
yeah, who always is, like,
fucks with
it's
her.
like she's out to get her,
I don't
out
remember
to
her
get
name.
Adeline.
She definitely like gives her a hard time. And this girl, she's been in the house for a really long time. Like Francesca's been
She's like crazy. Wait, are we talking about Francesca? Oh,
no.
no, 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 no,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, no, we're talking
She's,
about the
like,
same
crazy.
girl. She
She, like, hides in the walls and stuff. She's
yeah,
almost like a city.
Claire. Claire? No. Is it Claire?
No, I think Claire is the one dude's husband, like, the high up one, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah, that's right. Okay. I'm still early in the book.
I said the one dude's husband. I meant the one dude's
I
wife.
knew what you meant. I heard it and then I was just like, yeah, that. But yeah, it
Sorry,
will
y'all. It's a
in
little early.
so we talked about Satan's affair, right? The girl who so there's this girl I can't find her name, but she gives Addie a
Mhm.
really hard time in the house,
Yeah.
like picking fights, um, and
Like, doesn't she, like, lie about stuff that she does? Like, she tries to get her in trouble.
yeah, she tries to get her in trouble. Like,
Mhm.
but Francesca also knows like it's not all the truth because she has problems with this girl because this girl has been the longest running girl in her house. She can't sell her because she's just fucking crazy. And
Yeah.
Francesca's whole thing is that she has the best girls. And so it really fucking bothers her that homegirl is out here just fucking giving her she's like I can't blame her though. I mean, look at where she's at. And she
Well, especially if
is
she's been there for so long, right?
well, not just that, she's Sibby's sister.
Right, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
That's what I thought, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, so the Sybil in Satan's Affair, who came from the Colt family, or she
Yeah.
has a sister who is in Hunting Adeline and is in that house. And I'm pretty sure she ends up, I think she dies, right? I think, does Addie kill her?
I don't
I
remember,
don't
but
think she
I
does.
she Oh, I think Addie doesn't Addie kill her at in her room because the night she's gonna escape?
Maybe. Maybe that's what it was.
I think it was the night she was gonna escape, and the girl knew that she was gonna escape.
She was going to tell on her.
Yeah, exactly. And then yeah, they like fight in her bedroom, and then she's like worried because she doesn't want it to make noise and like wake anybody up. But somehow she manages to do it where she doesn't make a lot of noise. And then yeah,
Sydney.
because I can't imagine they would have, huh?
Sydney is her name.
Oh, Sydney. Yeah. And I can't imagine like if she had died on a different day, it not being a big thing. So it was
Yeah.
probably was the night before she was leaving.
But yeah, she she's one of the reasons that, because there's a really rough scene in the first half of the book with Francesca and Addie, and I don't know if you remember this part where Sydney went and fucked up a bunch of Francesca's shoes in her room, and blamed it
And she
on,
blames Addie.
yeah, and she blames
Yeah.
it on Addie, and it's almost like Francesca knows that it wasn't Addie, but oh no, my glasses. She knows that it wasn't Addie, but at the same time, she has to, I guess,
Hold them accountable.
yes.
Like show like an example of what happens if you like.
So she takes Addie into the other room and molests her with the high heel.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
Francesca, it's not like she's stuck in this world. Like, she's a piece of shit. She runs this house.
Mm-hmm.
She sells these girls. She has,
And her brother too.
yeah, her brother's the one who rapes all of them. He gets drunk and
Yeah.
belligerent and just fucking.
Yep.
Now let's get to the good part. Halfway through the
Can we
book,
skip to the good part?
Zaid finds her. He
Yeah.
escapes. Thank God. And Zaid finds her in, I think it was a train car, right?
Yes.
She
Because she
ran.
managed to escape the
Yes.
house with help
Yes.
from that one guy,
Rocco.
Ro- Rocco.
Yeah, because he catches her, right? He catches her
Yes.
leaving the room or the house.
Anytime I hear Rocco, I just think of Elmo. Rocco's just a rock, Zoe.
Do you remember that when that sound was really popular on TikTok?
Yeah, I just made one last week. That's probably why it's stuck in my head. I didn't post it or anything. It's just my drafts, but
But yeah, Zaid finds her, and there's a lot of TikToks that are based around that scene, like in the audiobook. Whenever he's
mm-hmm.
just like, "Fuck, stay right there. I'm coming for you." Like, that
Yeah.
was like a wash of relief after reading all of the stuff that Addie went through, because it was fucking tough,
Yeah,
dark.
it definitely was. Yeah.
And do you want to talk a little bit about like Addie after she's found?
Oh, actually, well, before we talk about she's found, so Zayd during that time,
Oh, yes. Yeah.
uh I know that he was like looking for her, like he has his security company, like he never stopped looking for her. But I think didn't he kill somebody?
He was killing a bunch of people.
He
Anyone
was.
who he found who was related to that stuff.
Yeah, he was like, oh, in that building that was like the hospital or whatever.
Hmm.
He like burnt it to the
Yep.
ground.
He hung the doctor from the window
So
and burned
hot.
it down.
So hot. Yeah, he burnt it down. And then there was somebody else, and I cannot remember for the life of me who it was, but somebody that he put on a table, and I thought he like tortured.
It
But
was
what? Maybe that was the first one.
it was
I
probably
don't
one of the
know.
guys who got caught when Addie was taken. Let's see. He was a mess though. I do know that. He was
Yeah, but wasn't like he was wasn't I can see a freaking eyelash about to go in my eye. Wasn't he also like I don't know, I thought he was like saving other girls while this was also going on.
let's see.
I don't know. I don't know. It's all blur.
He did. He it was part of the society stuff.
Mhm. Yeah, I can for some reason I can't really remember the details of what he was doing. It's fine. So then, yeah, fast forward. They finally see each other. Um, I can't really remember what instantly happens. I know that like he doesn't really physically try to put too much pressure on her because she also at this time is having a lot of trouble like being touched like because understandably of what she just came from. And
Yeah.
so I know that that becomes in like the second half of the book like a journey in itself. Um and they can tell that she's kind of just like she has like PTSD. Like she's just like, I don't know, suffering.
Mhm.
And he has to like work their way to get like close again. Not even just like physically, but like emotionally. I can't really remember anything like that happens though specifically, so I might need help.
Um, Going back to what you were talking about earlier, I'm not sure if this is what you're talking about, but so back in the first book, when Zayd chopped that guy's hands off, that guy was part of a mob boss family, and
Mhm.
his brother finds out, like he know his brother, his name is Max, and he was one of the ones who was seeing Daya, her best
Yes.
friend, and
Yes, I do remember that.
he was part of the plan for them to get taken. Like he knew about it, and
Mhm.
he knew that his brother had went to Addie's house and never came back, and so he
Mhm.
questioned it. And something along the line, yeah, he sold out Addie, and I don't think they took Daya, or Daya gets found, but he's part of it. And so Zayd is like, I left you alive, because he knew Max, but he didn't know that Max was in that crowd and that he
Yeah.
was a threat like that. And so
Mhm.
in the first couple of chapters, he goes to Max's house, kills all of his guards, and then he tortures him about where
I do
she
remember
is.
that.
And he doesn't
Yeah.
really get anything out of him, but he spends a lot of time torturing that guy.
Well,
And
and even at some point, Daya comes in,
oh, she's the one who,
kills him.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah.
Yep.
Yep. Yep. Yeah. Homie's the one that sold her out. And that's
Mhm.
what you're remembering. And then
Yeah.
yeah, in the second half of the book, when Zayd in the second half of the book, now I lost my train of thought. Yeah, he finds Addie, and she's definitely going through like PTSD, like she doesn't want to be touched, and he's understanding completely of that, and it breaks his
Mhm.
heart because he doesn't know how to help her, because she's
Yeah.
just kind of like self-destructing from the inside out.
Mhm.
um and he kind of shows her how to take control, because in the first book he's in control, right? And she likes it, she likes that, but now,
Mhm.
because she lost all of the control in the first half of the book,
Yeah, that's right.
yeah,
Yeah.
he kind
Now
of,
it's like something she struggles with.
yes, so he kind of gives her the control of how far she wants to go, what she wants to do. And something that they eventually do that makes it helps her is they hunt down, they hunt down everybody. They hunt down all the people in that house. Francesca,
Mhm.
Rocco, or not Rocco. I think uh that
Oh, her brother.
Xavier. Yeah, yeah.
Her brother too. Yeah.
Um, and one of the big parts in the second half of the book is when Adeline hunts down Xavier in the same forest where he was hunting her. And
Oh, I don't think that ever clicked for me that it was the same forest.
yeah, yeah, because it was at the same, it was at the house.
Oh,
Yeah, she
gotcha.
hunts him down, and she kills him, I think, right?
Yeah,
But
but before they even get to that point, they literally are like doing stuff, like sexual stuff in front of him just out of spite to him.
yeah, I think
It just
Zayd's
made such a
touching her.
mockery of his death. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, because Xavier's whole thing was he wanted to own her. He wanted
Mhm.
to. Oh, and one of the like really like well-known things that Zayd says to him was, "Did she cry out for God when you were raping her?" And Xavier said yes, and Zayd said, "She that means she was calling out for me."
Oh, yeah, I do remember that. I do remember that.
And yeah, they he's I'm pretty sure he gets her off, like he's fingering her, or is he fucking her? Like while Xavier's still there, like I think he's pinned to the ground. He has like it doesn't. I think he has like knives stuck in his hands.
Pause real quick. Not me doing the freaking Debbie Ryan.
I didn't.
I got a little shy. I was like,
It didn't even click to me. Yeah,
cringe.
yeah. They yeah. And as it progresses, they kind of like hunt down the people who did all of these really bad things to Addie and all of the other girls, and it event like she does learn how to accept Zayd again. But I love that he truly, it wasn't just an obsession, right? He truly does love her because he knew
Mm-hmm.
when she came back that she was going to need time, she was going to need space. And it broke his heart. Like when you read from his perspective, you can see how much pain he's in too, just because he feels guilty. He feels guilty. He wishes he could have saved her sooner, that it would have never happened.
Yeah.
The love between them, it really is storybook love.
Well, and that's the part where they start to like have that more of an emotional connection because in the first book, like it was very physical.
Hmm.
Even though they were into each other,
Yeah.
they didn't have a lot of that part. So, yeah, they did have it in this book. And there was something that I was gonna. Oh, yeah. Also, so after, like, do you remember Xavier?
Hmm.
Didn't he, like, why did she. Oh, he would use his knife
Oh,
on
that's
her, right?
right. Yes. He
On
would
her
cut
body,
her.
like, yes, while he was like doing her, and so she had a lot of scars. And then there's one scene that I really like where uh the night where Zayd does the, can you say it?
When Zayd, I think it's when Zayd and Addie finally are starting, they're I think they're gonna sleep together for the first time since
Hmm.
everything, and he sees the scars on her body and he cuts over them to create his own scars. Or like the scars are like made by him now. Like he's kind of wiping away Xavier and what he did to
Yeah, like
Addie.
it's not his anymore, like he
Like
doesn't get that power,
yeah, like when you look at
like.
these scars, you can see me now. You don't have to see him. And then
Hmm.
he also, something that he did that reminded me of is he carved a Zay, didn't he carve a rose into his chest? Was it a rose?
Oh yeah, didn't they both have one?
I think she asked for one. She asked him
Yeah,
to do
right.
it in that scene where he's cutting over her old scars, and
Hmm.
she wants one just like his because she wants it
Yes.
to think of him when she sees these scars. She doesn't want to think of
Yeah.
the awful things that she went through.
Hmm.
And I think that's when they finally sleep together after everything that she went through.
Yes, I did like that scene.
Yeah.
I did like that.
Very, very heartwarming.
Hmm.
Blood all over the sheets.
I love that scene for what it is in this
Yeah,
book,
for what
right?
it means. Yeah, yeah.
We were just like talking about this in day to day life, and I heard this before ever reading this book and understanding this niche. I would probably be scared.
Yeah,
I'd be
like,
like, what? What? You're
were
into
you?
what? Yeah.
Overall, I really did like hunting.
Hmm. Ooh, wait. So we normally rate it out of 5, right?
Hmm.
You go first. You go first.
I really want to give it a 5 out of 5, but Haunting was a 5 out of 5 for me because I love that book so much.
Right.
So I really want to give it like a 4.5 out of 5,
Okay.
and really just because it was so dark in the first
Yeah.
half, and that was
Hmm.
rough to read.
It
Um,
was 100%.
but the book it's so good. It's such a good book. It's such a good series. Like I love the cat and mouse duet. I really
I know.
do.
I'm so sad it's
I
over.
know, I know. But next week we're gonna talk about Where's Molly. So
Mm-mm.
no, oh no, that's right. We're gonna be doing a paranormal
Yes, we're not
podcast.
going to say what it is right now. Well,
Paranormal, I
actually,
guess, is not the.
next week's isn't. We are going to talk about paranormal ones. Next week's isn't super paranormal. It's more of a.
It's horror
It's a
genre.
place that people talk about it's you guys will understand when we talk about it. We kind of want it to be a little bit of a surprise, but we will talk about paranormal things.
Yes.
So we'll talk about that next week, and then Where's Molly will follow um that next week. We're trying to switch it up. We don't have Bridgerton anymore, so um yeah, we're gonna offer a lot more variety.
What's your rating on Hunting Adeline?
I am going to give it a 4. That's what I put on my Goodreads, just because I basically have the same reasons that you do. Um, it was like for most of the book, I was like, when is this gonna end? Like, I feel like this is like so dragged out.
Yeah.
I don't want to read any more of this. It's taking forever. So I did have moments like that. At the same time, I can appreciate like the plot and the character personal development, and it was still good writing. Like, it was still good writing. So I was still entertained throughout the book. But yeah, it was just a hard read. Um, didn't have a lot of the romance. I felt like the smut kind of all got pushed into the last few
Yeah.
chapters because obviously most of the book is her kind of trauma that she's going through. So yeah, it wasn't as like exciting for me. I don't get
Yeah.
all giddy and like I think I usually say to you guys that whenever I know that that I really enjoyed a book, I could reread it again.
Hmm.
I feel that way about Hunting, I wouldn't necessarily be super excited to read it again.
Yeah.
So that's why it's probably gonna be a 4 for me, but it's still worth the read.
It's a great series. I definitely
Hmm.
recommend for anyone looking for dark romance.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, thanks for listening.
Yeah. Thanks for tuning in, y'all. Um, we're almost at the end of the H.D. Carlton
Hmm.
books. I'm pretty sure she does have more. I don't
Yeah.
think they're as like mainstream. I think they
Hmm.
were more in the beginning of her writing. So it's not to say that we might not review those, but Where's Molly? That'll probably kind of like end out the segment of H.D. Carlton for now. Um, but yeah, then we'll move on to other stuff. So thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.